Welcome everyone. Today finds me in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We're right down by the beach. And in today's video, we are going to look at filming locations for a movie that's over 60 years old. It's kind of a beach classic called Where the Boys Are. This is the Elbow Room, which opened in Fort Lauderdale in 1938. The Elbow Room, along with this busy intersection, is where a lot of the action took place in the movie Where the Boys Are. And that movie was significant for a lot of reasons. It introduced us to a lot of young stars who gained certain amounts of fame. Stars like George Hamilton, Jim Hutton, Paula Prentiss, Dolores Hart, Frank Gorshin. Who am I missing? Yvette Mimieux. How could I forget Connie Francis? She also sang the theme song. It only reached, I believe, number 4 here in the United States, but it was a #1 hit in over 15 countries. She recorded it in 5 different languages. It was written by Neil Sedaka, and he said it was the only song out of the 700 plus songs that he wrote without intending to sing it himself. The intersection we're coming up to is kind of a joke in the movie because they consistently ran across big mobs of kids tying up traffic, anxious to get across the street. Now, at that time, that little white barrier wall was not there, but the Elbow Room certainly was. And as I said, they filmed inside, outside, all around this intersection. Kind of neat to see it here. Not so busy now as it is in the movie. Here's another angle we can see in the movie, and there was a pharmacy located right there. We're looking at the same corner of the Elbow Room. It's an awful windy day. I'm going to try to shield from the wind. I hope you can hear okay. The main star of the film was Dolores Hart. She had an interesting story. She was not in 1 but 2 Elvis Presley movies before being in Where the Boys Are. She was in Loving You and King Creole. Soon after she made this film, I think about 3 years later, she made her final film, and then she joined a monastery. And to this day, at age 82, she is a nun, and she is also a member of the Academy, the only voting member of the Academy of Motion Pictures who is a nun. Pretty interesting. To this day, Dolores Hart says everybody asks her about Elvis. They ask her what it was like to be kissed by Elvis. She said back then the longest they were allowed to kiss was 15 seconds, and she said this kiss lasted over 40 years because it's been so long that people ask her about that. They actually made a documentary about her life about 10 years ago called God is Bigger Than Elvis, and it was nominated for an Academy Award for documentaries. And Frank Gorshin, who's probably best known as playing the Riddler in Batman. He's also a great impressionist and comic actor, wears Coke bottle thick glasses and plays a jazz musician in this movie. Jim Hutton, who teamed up with Paula Prentiss. He's probably best known for being Ellery Queen. And after this movie, he and Paula Prentiss were teamed up 3 more times. Probably the most famous movie was A Horizontal Lieutenant. Paula Prentiss never made a movie before this one, and she went on to having a pretty good degree of success in Hollywood as well. Yvette Mimieux, a Canadian actress many people know from The Time Machine, made an early appearance co-starring in Where the Boys Are. And of course, George Hamilton. We all know George Hamilton, probably most famous for his tan. Love at First Bite he was in, and he was one of the young stars of this film as well. So on the very first day of their spring break trip to Fort Lauderdale, Tuggle, played by Paula Prentiss, met Jim Hutton. His character was TV, and they spent the day here in the elbow room. She never even made it to the beach. She had to get in using a fake ID. An actress named Barbara Nichols played a small but kind of pivotal role in one of the side stories as TV lost his interest in Paula Prentiss, the Tuggle character, and he became infatuated with this woman who was a mermaid in one of the bars. She swam around in a giant aquarium as a mermaid. And Barbara Nichols was the actress, and she's famous for a Twilight Zone episode. Well, a lot of things. But she was in a Twilight Zone episode, I think it was called number 22. It's the one where she says to her, "Room for one more, honey," and the plane explodes. It would have been the plane that she got on. So you might want to check that one out. Twilight Zones are always really good. I wonder what kind of booze you get for $29, bottomless. We're stopping for lunch at Burlock Coast, and it is right across from the beach. This is really a nice view. I'm just sitting down here at a table, looking across the road. Very pleasant. There was one scene in the movie where the kids were trying to raise money to send arms to Castro. This was during the Cuban Revolution. And the producer, Joe Pasternak, said no, they cut that out, and he said that politics have no place in entertainment. And he said we all have the right to our opinion, that's why we have private ballots. I got a fried chicken sandwich, which is just exactly what you'd expect for a fried chicken sandwich. And over here we have fish and chips. Boy, does that look tasty as well. And here are some of the posters. And look at that. Here is a giant beach chair that people are posing in, but I'm not going to. Here's the very ship-like Bee Ocean Hotel. And every Friday and Saturday night, the Mermaid Show still takes place. Tickets are $60 a person. And this palatial estate was the home of Ryder Smith, Brown University, played by George Hamilton. We won't be able to get in the grounds, obviously, because it's a private home. But we can see what we can see from here. Now you'll see there is a round driveway, and that is going to be quite evident when you see the movie, as well as some of those buildings in the background. But really a nice, nice house. As we leave the Ryder Smith home, I wanted to say that this is quite a walk. It's a gated community, so you can't drive down here unless you have permission or you live here, but you can walk. So we have been walking, I don't know, 4 or 5 blocks here and back. I want to thank you for joining me on this trip to Fort Lauderdale and a look at where the boys are. As always, I encourage you to like and share the videos. Leave your comments down below. If you haven't already, please subscribe by clicking my face in the corner. And don't forget to ring that bell icon up above. That way you'll know when I post new videos. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Mark, and this is the Average Me Channel.